Hey guys, Ross Pitcoff here, and I wanted to make a brief video for you concerning your rights as a minority member or shareholder in an LLC or a corporation. This also is pertinent for partnership owners, people who run a business together for profit that don't have the form of an LLC or a corporation. The most pressing question I tend to get when I get phone calls or people asking is, what are my rights to inspect the books and records of the company? And often it's a two-layered question. The question is, number one, do I have such a right? And if yes, what items then do I have an absolute right to review? Now, very briefly, the first thing that you should always do is check either your operating agreement if you're an LLC, check your shareholder agreement if you're a corporation and take a look at the bylaws, and also check your partnership agreement if you're simply acting as a business partnership. You should see language in there discussing when and at what times and in what ways you can inspect records and what records you're allowed to inspect. That said, there are statutory protections provided both under the business corporation law in the state of New York, as well as the limited liability company of law, which essentially say that you, so long as you're a member or a shareholder in good standing when you make the request, you absolutely have a right to inspect the books and records. Now, the definition of books and records can vary, but essentially it's always going to deal with the last 3 years' worth of tax returns for the business. If you're looking to get a lot more information, and by the way, you don't need any special justification. So for example, if you're dealing with the managing member, you're dealing with the CEO, whoever it might be that's giving you pushback saying, well, tell me why. I need to know the reason why. You need to justify the reason for why you want to review these records. Not going to hold. Absolutely not. You have that statutory right. Number two, the issue then becomes, well, what can I review? Is there anything else? Can I look at invoices? Can I look at business contracts? Can I look at expenses? What else happened in the business? And typically that's going to depend on the circumstances that surround the reason then for your wanting to inspect the books and records. Sometimes this is what a judge is going to deal with in court to figure out the scope of what you're entitled to review. So you need to make a good faith showing as to what additional records above those relating to tax returns, etc., that you'd be entitled to review and really justify why. Hope this is helpful. Just wanted to make a really quick video for you on this topic. If you're ever curious to know about what your rights are, check your operating agreements, check your contracts. You should also know that at times, even if you're entitled to inspect books and records, you may not be entitled to inspect confidential information such as trade secrets. Typically, there are reasons for that. Typically, that's outlined in the operating agreement or shareholder agreement itself. But nevertheless, it's something to consider when you're making that demand for inspection, what you can reasonably be entitled to receive. Again, I hope it's helpful. Check the business corporation law, check the New York limited liability company law, and most importantly, check the underlying agreements that govern your business.